Holy crapperoni, we're already starting! How does this happen all the time, man? How does this keep happening? Hello, guys. Hello, hello. Oof, they really are starting early today. We ain't messing around. My friends, my buddies, my family lam. How are we doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're all feeling fantastico as we get this ready to begin. So, this is going to be the next event once again. We've got Kira Solar here in the winners match of Group D. How does this work with Kira playing in GSL Code A? I have no idea. You know, guys, honestly, I think the really simple assumption is that this is just played from replays, and they just played it last night or earlier today. I 100% just assume that is the case, but I do not have any information. I do not have any answers for you. I don't have any info. I don't have any guarantees. What I will be able to tell you is by the end of this game, I'll be able to tell you if it's a replay or not. But I don't know that until this game ends. So once this game ends, we'll kind of know. I know everyone's been kind of asking this and wondering. And honestly, the answer is that we just don't really know. But I'm sure they've got a way to figure it out and stuff, obviously. So, yeah. We get this ready to go. And it is Kira Solo. Winners match, of course. Kira looked good yesterday in the TVZ. Like, he looked really, really good. In fact, it was kind of crazy. And I mean, of course, he should be looking good because he's got to play Ragnarok and Code A in a little while. So that, of course, makes sense that he's looking good in the matchup. But I don't know if I was expecting him to look that good. Because he really did look that freaking good when this was happening. As this factory's going to go down. And we are going to start this off. So we get ourselves up and running into game number 1 of this best of 3 series, of course, still in the group stages. Of course, playoffs start next week on Monday. But they're fighting for right now, by the way, as well, as we actually do know what order people are going to end up in the bracket. So I can actually just tell you that quickly, that basically if you win this, you go up against Zaun in the bracket, and you're on the same side of the bracket as Trap and Serral. If you lose this, and you go through in second place, you're on the same side of the bracket as Time. You would play against Time on the same side of the bracket as Clem and Maru. Is there a better place to be? Not really. Time looked dangerous. Zaun is obviously very good. I don't think you could really pick between them. I think these guys would just be happy to get to the playoffs, so I think that's what we're probably going to be seeing a little bit of here in the NetEase Esports X Tournaments group stage. Just these guys wanting to get to the playoffs and going from there. Of course, this group, Kira versus Solar in the winners match, Creator versus Reynor in the elimination match, decider match, best of 3 will also be played today. So we have a whole bunch of best of 3s on the way up, basically. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here. This Reaper's just going to be turned around. And that Reaper's just going to get pushed out through the center. So Queen's already going to deflect that Reaper just a little bit. The couple Hellions still coming up. Zerglin Speed starting up as well, so that's about halfway done. And, yeah, everything just kind of moving along nicely at the moment. So far, so good. Pretty standard TVZ to start us off here. We do play on Lightshade, which is a pretty kind of standard map as well, I would say. One of the things I was kind of catching our eye yesterday was that Q obviously let Jagannatha come through to play against Reynor, and it worked out wonders for him. I mean, he made that map, his own. He really owned it. But that's not usually something that happens, but it is something that maybe Q lets happen more often than not. So, yeah, something to keep in mind there. Guys, okay, I actually already know that this is a replay, and I'll tell you why I think that is. There's no game heart in the game, right? There's not going to be any worker kills notifications, like just there. There's not going to be any, showing what units are building. So this is 100% a replay that Kira and Solar played that they did not host Game Hard for because they didn't have an admin there. You know what? This is one of the things that bothers me the most when players host their own games, that they still don't use Game Hard. Some players are really good at it. The Koreans really aren't. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and say this was played from replay. There we go. We figured it out. Boom. We're good. But yeah, obviously one of those results where nobody knows the result or anything, guys. That was probably just played earlier today, and it is just a matter of kind of, allowing GSL to happen and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so we got to the bottom of it, I think. So, yeah. Cool. May as well be live, though, because, again, unless we kind of had this big charade about it, no one would have known. But I know some people really, really care. Some people right now are closing the stream in disgust. You dare waste my time with a replay? My eyes are not worthy of watching replays. Ugh. So yeah, I know some of you guys find it really tough, so just wanted to let you know now that I have an inkling that it is a replay. Alright, well, this Banshee comes in, gets a couple of additional drones, not doing bad, right? And Hellions at the same time picking off the creep tumors. One of the things that was very notable yesterday with Kira versus Reynor, he was so good at just controlling the map. He was so good at denying creep. He got a few kills here and there. They really racked up over time. I mean, just now he just got himself a queen kill as well. So, I mean, that's looking fantastic too, right? Really, across the board, just a great start so far. Don't think, yeah, I mean, there's not really anything else you could really add on to this to make it too much better, right? At least at the very get-go. So, yeah, I think you can only be kind of happy so far with how things are going, and we'll see how it continues to develop. As we, of course, kind of move our way through and just going to be seeing these Lings and Queens having a little bit of a journey around and still trying to defend against these Hellions, and the Banshee's going to get turned away. But I already like what Kira's done in this game. Like, I already feel like Kira, to me, is on his way to, like, a really good setup in this game. Like, it feels very comfortable for him. It feels like he knows what he wants to do. He's denied a lot of creep. These Hellions are still putting pressure on as well, chasing for Zerglings. He loses one, but I mean, the game just, that chasing denies the creep for a little longer. Creep team over here does get to come up, so that's a nice little something. And it's just going to be seeing these Marines and Medivacs will continue across over to the top side of the map. So, Marines and Medivacs just going to be coming along, and just going to be seeing the move in to deny another creep tumor. So, I mean, first real push, right? Stim is done, there's no upgrades done, although at some point you will have an upgrade lead here. That will not be right now, as we go to the top side. I mean, canceling a fourth base, that's always a great thing to be doing in TVZ, and it looks as though we will get the cancel. Drones going down to the Hellions. I mean, even just using these Hellions as a buffer for the Lings initially is kind of really effective. This Overload goes down too, another loss on the side of Solar, and Cure is just dominating the first 7 minutes of this game. There is just no other way to say it. It is a complete and utter dominating affair, as Cure just shows the hell up so far. Apparently his TVZ is looking amazing right now. I was going to see Ling Bane going to go running at those Marines. Observer? That was some top-level Wardy observing right there. Jeez, that was, there was an army running right at the Marines, and we were just like, let's watch that creep spread. Okay, I'm slowly getting a little bit distracted momentarily, perhaps, as we do see Kira. He's trying to distract us all up into this main, drop down to the low ground, maybe fight the Queens, maybe just fly away and wait again for a little while before committing through. And there's just going to be seeing more of that Ling being collecting back up on the left side. Good news for Solar, he's about to finish up 1-1, so he will even out the upgrades, and Kyo's only just started +2 attack and no +2 armor yet. So it looks as though Kyo forgot about his armory or forgot about 2-2 for a while, so it has allowed Solar to catch up a good amount on the upgrades. That's going to limit the upcoming timing of the 2-2, right? And that 2-2 push, which we see a lot of cancel on the fourth phase again! No, you can't have this happen, Solar! Every time that fourth base gets cancelled, you fall even further behind in this game, and that is just... I mean, you just can't afford to have that happen. Like, you just can't let this happen. It's as simple as that, guys. You really, really can't, as Mauling Bane going to come through the middle of the map. And just setting up. We do see a little bit of Marine tank around the right-hand side. So a bigger push from Q. I mean, Solar needs to be counter-attacking. He needs to get in. He needs to be doing damage. He needs to get himself, you know, some progress right here. And, I mean, I just don't see how he's going to find that progress, because Kira's already back here defending. I mean, it means Kira isn't attacking, at least. But we saw Kira yesterday was very patient with his attacks, and really only attacked when he definitely kind of knew it was right for him to attack. And that definitely benefited him as well, so... yeah, let's see what happens next. These Banshees going to be back in. Couple more drones going down. I mean, the damage just continues out. Going to see a massive Ling Bane continuing across the map here as these SCVs are going to pull away to the side. The tank fire is pretty good on quite a few of the Zerglings already. So a lot of those Lings initially going down. Again, there's just defenses in position. So this, at this point of the game, basically, if you're Solar, you can't counterattack effectively. You've just got to really focus on taking a really good fight. I mean, the good news is there's only 3 siege tanks attacking you, because the other tanks are left at home defensively. So that's something you can maybe work with. Here you go. He's going to have a flank in from the right side as well, so the Bane's coming from everywhere, but it's off creep. So Cure can just play off creep, but he doesn't do what he needs to do. What was that, Cure? Oh, no. So he was basically stepping back, and then he went to jump in the Medivacs, but he misclicked, so he just sort of stood still in the Bane lanes, and the Bane lane splash delivers, and Solar will survive for the moment. Here comes the rest of Cure's army, by the way, so this is why he had a supply lead, but wasn't actually looking good in that fight. Never mind the big lane hit. The big lane hit? The big Baneling hit. I guess you can call it the big lane hit. I mean, Solo's on his way to a Lurker Den. All you gotta do is survive to Lurkers, right? The moment you get up to Lurkers, this game is a completely different game from what it used to be. The moment you're at Lurkers, this game changes in its entirety. So, right now... Yeah, you know, right now I feel like you just kind of like... Well, have to take this fight. Let's see. Q's going to take a battle right now as we see the lane being continued through. It's looking as though it's just not going to be enough for Soul to clean out. Yeah, I think you have to keep fighting as Q because you're playing a 3-base style. You're not really looking to kind of play a longer game. You're not set up for that. And hence, the moment you are suddenly like pulled back into a situation where you're like, oh, there's lurkers, I've got to play slow and defensively. You're just not set up for that at all, which is why I was trying to say before this fight happened, I feel like he needs to attack, and he needs to attack right now, which he is now starting to do, and which he obviously was doing. I just couldn't get my words out in time. First series of the day, we started a little bit early, guys. What can I say? I'm just... the brain's warming up a little bit still. As did you see a hat-trick going down, obviously this just gets worse and worse for Soul. This was just a combination of things that went very, very badly wrong for him. I mean, now the Lurk's on the way, now there's a Viper to try and help out. Nice Blinding Cloud on those siege tanks. I mean, that's going to be no splash damage on from those, but just doesn't matter, man. And what Lurkers are about to finish as these Marines stim up toward them. He's going to see the Lurkers finishing, and now he's just going to go commit. I feel like he was kind of almost waiting for the Lurkers to finish so he could guarantee getting the kills, but then they burrowed, and now he has to... Well, he decides to back away for the moment. Maybe he doesn't have a scan. Maybe he just doesn't believe he can actually kill the Lurkers in time. I mean, okay, maybe because he's got Liberators showing up. And that works too, although the Vipers will abduct and those Liberators just keep getting yoinked. He's going to go up into the main base, force the relocation of the Lurkers, but now there's Ling Bane here, and... I mean, you probably just have to slow this down a bit as Curie does start a 4th command center. I mean, Solo survives, but in a very, very difficult position. So, just going to be... Well... I mean, just look at it all, right? He does have a 4th base up on the bottom side now, but... It's a 4th base, it doesn't have creep around. In fact, there's just not creep anywhere on the map at this point, really. Not even really connecting the 3rd and the 4th base. Kyo just needs to max out and go again, right? Lurkers can maybe buy a better time. They can't turn a game like this around in its entirety, though. Absolutely no way. It's just not possible. It's just not possible, guys. Marines stim through into the natural as well, so they already find these Lurkers out of position. Hatchery goes down, just going to continue up into the main. Meanwhile, you're already attacking the bottom side of the map as well. Your turn fight here splits, although no scans, you can't actually fight the Lurkers, and of course you just lift up and leave. And then you start pushing this bottom side too, and I mean, the situation just keeps on downgrading for Solar. Kira really does have full control of this game, my friends, and he is going to be winning out in game number 1 of this best of 3. That's the reason Marines pulling back. Liberators are going to come siege forwards, and these Lurkers are going to try and make a play, but I think this is where Kyo just commits in. And they're going to... they remove the end game screen before we can see it, so we can't check for sure if it's a replay. It's 99% sure it's a replay, guys. Let's just be realistic with ourselves. I'm not sure. Like, I feel like Oxide... I kind of thought like maybe Solo prefers playing Cure on Oxide, but like the way Cure plays, I think is just perfectly fine for Blackburn. You know, that's my issue with this, is I don't think it actually helps you as Solo to play on Blackburn in any way. Like, I don't see what's good about this map. Maybe Solo believes this map he can split map more easily, like he can hold, get to Lurkers and split map, and that's what he wants to do. And if you can hold until you get to those Lurkers, maybe he can, you know, feels like he can win. So he kind of believes, even if you 8-racks me, I can hold on this map and push it late game. And maybe he just feels this map is better for doing that on than Oxide, even though this map really is good for like 8-racks and pushes through those bottom sides of the map. So, yeah, I guess we will see what's happening. Guys, I just need to quickly write something down on a notepad, just so I don't forget. Sorry, just had to write something down, make sure I didn't forget it for later. Something just popped in my head. I was like, oh shit, I need to do that. So, yeah, just wanted to write it down and make sure we didn't forget. Alrighty, so as we get this up and running, my friends, get this underway, this Overlord of Solar It's moving around this bottom side of the map, so on its way across, looking to see what's going on in these early stages. Just seeing what's happening right now. Cool. So, it's going to be seeing our startup here is going to be T-Rex Reaper, so it is a little bit different from what you would usually expect to see. Something to put a little bit more pressure on early. You will still expand pretty quick off this as Cure. This isn't like it's 3-Rex Reaper or anything where you really do pile on pressure for a long time. It's going to be a little bit more kind of running around the bases and just being that little bit annoying and all that kind of stuff initially, so yeah, just going to have a little bit of that for the moment. As we got a drone setting up to take place on the third hatchery. So our third hatchery gets started, the few lings are going to get beat on by this Reaper, so we go back and forth a little bit as well. So back and forth with these lings, the queen pops out, double Reaper wants to move forward, and is going to drop down a grenade. So one grenade blasting back this queen, another grenade blasting back the queen. And this queen's still moving through as well, so just continuing to come on in. But Nose Reaper's back through the bottom side of the map. Just going to see another creep tumor coming down. Oh, the frontiers. Just getting that creep spread up and running. Still Reaper's putting some damage in. The queen's taking hits in the main. I mean, if you still have to lose a queen here, this does become kind of expensive, right? So you kind of want to avoid losing the queen if at all possible. And we kind of do a decent effort of that, to be fair. Solo is babysitting it a little bit. But now an extra Reaper shows up, and this time he will get the queen. And this is just difficult to deal with. For it only being like 2 Reapers, right? It's like, because they have just a short run across the map through that bottom side, they come across quickly, they reinforce quickly. Now the extra queens are here, I don't think this gets too out of hand. This is where if you had 3-Rex Reaper, you could probably keep fighting queens, but because it's 2-Rex Reaper, you're kind of just like, you know, that queen count's a bit too much. So you back away. Obviously 2-Rex Reaper not able to deny the third hatchery at all, so Solo gets that down anyway. And it's a bit of damage, yes, but it's a bit of damage that Cure had to invest into to get. He delayed his CC to add a second Rex. He put a lot of gas into multiple Reapers that you don't usually build, so his factory would be delayed. In this case, he does go factory still. He's going to go stim with it as well. It's going to turn into a bit of like a 2-on-1 Hellion kind of combo. And I mean, I think that Reaper Hellion combo can be scary too. There's still benefits from this, but it did cost Cure, you know, an investment. It's not like he just magically came up with this damage, and he's just in the same position he would be with a 1-Rex Reaper expansion. So just trying to say, you know, yes, Solo had a bit of damage taken there, but don't think that that's the end of the world. That set of lings running through the slow zone, though, towards the Hellion Reaper. That was painful, because I was like, yeah, and they just get, like, all roasted. But then they got out, and both sides kind of just disengaged. Nobody really wanted to be involved in that. It's going to be seeing another Zergle in the middle of the map going down, and these units of Gear will continue to move across to the far right-hand side. So just putting the pressure on. Like I say, Reaper Hellion combined actually is just going to be that little bit scarier than usual, so that's a nice little something. We're even going to turn this into a Hellbat attack. Are the Marines going to show up with these Hellbats and have stim and like really like make a push out of this? This would be terrifying. You know, Kyo did something similar yesterday, right? A bit of a different quirky build against Reynor in Game 2. It just threw Reynor off with like the entirety of the game, and I wonder if he's just going to like, same sort of idea here, bit of a quirky build, something different that can throw your opponent off. And it could really be just very effective, I think, at doing exactly that. So, very interesting. I mean, here comes the Marines. They have stim. Hellbats are here. You do have Baneling's Morphin, which is obviously a massive savior for Solo. If he doesn't have Bane's Morphin, he's probably in a lot of trouble. And even with the Banes, it's not an easy hold. Let's see how this Hellbat split looks. I mean, the Marines having been able to stim is just massive. The damage they put out, additional compared to usual, is great. Quite a few queens going down, quite a lot of lings going down. There's that one queen here coming from the other side. The Marines should have really gone for that one. The transfusion came down on it in the end. As now, streaming in lings is just obviously costing you a few more units as we go by, and Solo's even going to make a couple more Banelings. The problem with that is that's just another expense, right? Additional Banelings right now. I mean, that really just adds up even further as to all of these costs which you're having to pay, basically. So, man, kind of a wild time here. As do just have Solar. Look at the situation coming out of this. 58 drones to 55 SCVs. Down on army supply. Lair, late. Evo chambers, late. He has nothing good for himself right now. He doesn't have fast upgrades. He doesn't have fast bane speed. The Terran has stim and combat shields. He's about to have medevacs. It's really similar to the game yesterday with Reynor, where actually it's so funny because like it's such a different way of getting here, but the effect is the same. That Reynor was just behind on upgrades, late on bane speed, because he was just preparing for these attacks. And then Q doesn't, makes these attacks happen, comes out of it, and he just seems to be having, like, such a lead in so many places. He's still making Hellions, by the way, so apparently he wants to keep on making Hellbats. As now, we're going to drop through this bottom side. I mean, these Marines are going to be difficult to clean up, let's just face it. These Zerglings are not going to have an easy time at all, and Overlord going to go down to the side. Probably need Queen support here to really help this. Well, that Queen support not going to go very far, as the first one goes down instantly. Morling's going down, the Banes are going to get target fired, now we just lift up against them, and, well, just free damage for Kua. Really doesn't take any damage himself at all right there, so... Rip these rest of these Marines, I'm just going to drop on down and go from there, but... Yeah, that's just kind of crazy, right? He's in a very good position right now, Kua. He's in a very, very good position as he grabs an Overlord, these couple creep teamers are going down. I really do not think there's much else to be added onto this, guys. I mean, he is just absolutely going to start running away with this game. What can Solar do? Well, I mean, the good news is Kua seems to be building Widow Mines, which means he's maybe not going to go for 8 racks, so Solar might actually get a chance to survive a bit longer than expected here. So that's my positive to bring to the table right now. I know that's not, like, hyper positive or something, like, super amazing, but that's kind of the best I've got, guys. Like, I really want to be more positive for you all, but... Like, Kua's just running away with this. I mean, the fact that he's not, like, the fact that Kua is not ARAX, and it's like, okay, maybe Solar won't die instantly, but it also means that Kua's building up into an extremely strong macro position. You know, the fact that he isn't ARAX isn't just a straight up, like, oh, he's made a mistake. No, it's just the decision of how he plays out this game. So, in my eyes, obviously, I think if you 8-racks here, it's a little bit faster to end the game and probably a little bit easier sometimes. By extending the game into more macro focus, you obviously put the risk on maybe Solar maybe being able to make, have more time to make more plays to kind of bring this back. But of course, if Kua's confident in his style and believes in that he can just play properly, which obviously he should be able to, then I don't think he's really thinking about that. Bane speed's still not done, by the way. I mean, just in case you're wondering how late the lair was this game. We're 9 minutes in, Bane speed's halfway done. Solar was just thrown so heavily off in this game. And that's kind of terrifying if Kua just has a complete, like, array of builds he can just throw into TVZ, just to mix it up and to make, make life difficult. These Marines and Mines going to come through the top side. Bane still don't have Bane speed. Oh my goodness. That Widow Mine actually does hit onto a lot of the Marines, and then Baneling does manage to slide on up to the Marines as well. I'm just going to be seeing more of these Marines unload, and Overlord's taking a little bit of damage. I'm just going to be seeing the couple of Queens pushing those medevacs away. Couple Widow Mines burrowing up, the Marines continuing forward, Creep Tumors going down. Just going to see these Banes rolling through, trying to get on top of the rest of these units, but not able to just yet. The rest of the Banes coming in again now. Just going to lift up and escape away. Widow Mines do go off, and they do connect rather nicely. And Kua just keeps whittling away at Solar. Drilling Claws on the way, 2-2 on the way. I mean, again, the good news for Solar is that Kua played a style that kind of lets Solar survive for a while, so he's on his way to Hydras. He's getting a Hive, so I imagine we see a Lurker down at some stage, and I can only really say that that's a positive because, this is one of those games where if Solar never made it to any sort of lair attack, then I wouldn't have been surprised, But yeah, like I say, as it stands, Kua's actually having himself cleaned up. Solar's taking some decent fights, and those fights absolutely going to be keeping Solar in the game. And as I say, as he techs up, this should, in theory, only really get more difficult for the Terran player. There's definitely a stage of this game where Vipers and Lurkers start coming out, where the Terran still doesn't have, like, the mass ghost count. And that can create some very difficult to deal with situations, for sure. Drones going down on the gold base, though, and obviously that's one of the things that Kua really does have on this map. Again, complete and total control. Creep spread, well, it looks like Solar's never even heard of creep spread in his life, right? But it is just because of the control that Kira has had in this game. The creep spread just isn't really anywhere. And so Solar can't use that to his advantage, and that is one of the big benefits that will just continue to be in this game off the very strong start that Kira had here. Let's come through, we snipe down a Queen. These Lings and Banes wanted to move in as well. Bayun's going to stim once more. Big Widowmine shot on the Banelings there. I think specifically the fact that it hit the Banes was really nice. He actually left the Marauders behind. They didn't quite make it back to the medevacs in time for their pickup, unfortunately. Then we continue through the choppers. A couple of mines, Marauders all setting up, coming to the front. Continuing through and continuing to push those Banelings away. I'll lift up once again, let the mines do the rest of it, and I mean, you've still got this push on the bottom side ready to go too. Kira just continuing to throw units at Solar. Now, Seismic Spines is on the way. We are ticking down to having those beautiful little lurkers joining us on the map. Maybe not everyone thinks they're beautiful, but it definitely is a pretty important part of this, because it really should be the point where Solar can maybe start to slow this down. But is it just getting too bad before he gets there? I mean, the lurkers are out, but they don't have Seismic Spines. I say the lurkers are out. I see one lurker right here at the moment, as now Kira's just going to lift up and head to the main base. The power of this push, always the ability to jump in toward the main base after, and that just being something you have to kind of respect. Gonna see this medevac splitting away. It does fall down. I mean, Q's just got a maxed out army against, well, somebody that just can't really compete with a maxed out army, right? I mean, if Banelings go down, this lurker gets killed off, and my friends really do just continue towards the end of this game. As Bioforces continue through, the creep tumors continue to drop. The lurkers, the Lings, the Viper, the Banes. Can they be enough? I mean, you've got another push top side that's looking to try and deny the gold base again, most likely, or maybe go top. I mean, again, like I said, the lurkers are out. Can they maybe make the difference? I mean, we see Liberators being made. We see a Ghost Academy, 4 command centers at a time. The problem is, if nothing else, Kira's just absolutely just, again, dominated the game, so he can just afford all this. He's set up for, like, a perfect late game. He's never been harassed a single time. I mean, again, the thing with TVZ is when you get a lead like Kira got in this game, I just see the discussion in the chat, like, you know, TVZ looks unfair if, you know, the Terran's good. I think it's not even if the Terran's good. I think the Terran, if they get a lead, right, can just make the game look unfair. Because that advantage takes a long time to really draw out to, like, a victory. But it's still there the entire time, and a lot of what he's been able to do this game is because of that initial start of the game, right? Like, if he didn't have such a good start, the creep spread would have been way better for Solar. He would have been in more positions, he would have had a couple more units, he would have been able to launch counterattacks. And all of those things make Kira's life more difficult. But because none of that's in play, yeah, the game kind of looks like Kira just dominates and Solar has no chance. Because Kira knows exactly what he needs to do to take advantage of this lead, push it to its maximum, and just get the most out of his position in the game. So, yeah, it's pretty sick. I mean, he really was just very far ahead. Like I say, it wasn't just the fact that he traded well with the Hellbat attack. Like, there was no upgrades on the way from Solar. He was way late on the lair. He was so far behind in so many ways. So, yeah, very, bit of a tough one for Solar, but just again, I feel like this game, while 60 minutes long, really was decided kind of 5-6 minutes in. Just gonna see those lurkers still set up. I mean, right now Kira's actually dropped a bit of a supply lead. He's gonna clean up a couple lurkers, so yeah, Stevie needs to be a little bit more careful, but don't forget this is the guy that just built up a ton of command centers for the late game, so. Gonna be seeing the units continue to come on through. Lings, lurkers continue to get set up. And we're just gonna be seeing our armies continue to clash. I mean, Kyo's just maxed out again, so ready to go once more. No surprises there. As you see the rest of this Bioforce continuing around. Liberator just get a clean up on a lurker that was hitting the gold which is almost mining out for Kyo. this stage. Can Scylla make this turnaround? I mean, the Lurkers obviously are buying him a lot of time. Could Q be making his own life easier? I think so, right? If you go into like a Ghost Academy, you know, he's got the Ghost Academy. If he has a bunch of ghosts, right now I see him just building bio units in the medevac. So I'm kind of like, what are you doing, Q? Like, why are we still building more of the same when, you know, ghosts and teching up a little bit would only make your life that much easier, right? Yeah, kind of surprised because I think we've got to the point as well where the lurker count is pretty darn high. Okay, this is a pretty nice play. Just jump into the main base again, use the Liberators to siege up. That's going to be difficult to contend with as Solar. He's going to take a lot of losses here as the Hydras do fight to get on the high ground. The problem is the lurkers can't get in range to stop the bio from fighting the Hydras. Okay, so that's just going to do it. GG is called. We insta-tap out as this is again a replay and they're trying to hide it, guys. GG's.